Hello again, everyone. Welcome to One Bills Lite, the hurry-up offense version of our daily show, One Bills Live, where we bring you fresh content, drop the knowledge about the Buffalo Bills and the NFL at large. We dive into the numbers game with a Pro Bowl focus this week. We discuss Steve Taster's newfound stardom with Kyle Brandt. And our one burning question, is home field advantage really important in the playoffs when there are few to no fans? Time to fire it up!
And it's Steve Taster who has been all over the field.
Kind of unique. He was kind of a dual-role player for you. Steve! A balloon. Steve! A blimp? We're not even in the stratosphere of normalcy here. Welcome to another episode of One Bills Lite. Steve Tasker, Chris Brown here with you. Merry Christmas and happy holidays to everybody out there. Thank you for subscribing to One Bills Lite. First things first, congratulations to the Bills, AFC East champs for the first time in 25 years. And winning as a team gets you individual accolades, as you well know, Steve. And this week, the Bills see 5 of their players named to the Pro Bowl.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, it means something to players. It actually means more to them than, well, All-Pro is certainly important, but this is really a gesture of respect from coaches and players around the league because they vote on it, and they're 2/3 of the vote, and it means a lot.
It's a peer honor.
It is absolutely a peer honor, and also coaching staffs who vote on players as well. It really, really strikes a deep chord with players.
And we had Ruben Brown on our daily show, One Bills Live, during the week, and I thought he painted the picture quite well in explaining the significance of it because, as Steve said, it is the guys who play the game against you that are voting for you. Quite literally, offensive linemen vote for defensive linemen, wide receivers vote for defensive backs, et cetera, and you can't vote for your teammates. So it really is a peer honor in every sense of the word. The 5 Pro Bowl players for the Bills are the most since 1998, when Buffalo also had 5 Pro Bowl players. Steve, we begin the numbers game with this.
All right.
Can you name the 5 Bills players who were named to the Pro Bowl in 1998? Now, this shouldn't be too hard for you because this is only a year removed from your last season as a Bills player in 1997. So we begin the numbers game with the 5 Pro Bowl players in 1998.
Here we go. Eric Moulds.
Eric Moulds, check. That was his first career Pro Bowl, his breakout season of 1998. Yes.
Bruce?
Bruce is not on the list for 1998.
Thurm?
Thurm is not there for 1998 either.
Try Andre. Try all the Hall of Famers.
Andre is a no as well.
Here we go. Flutie.
Doug Flutie, yes, also won NFL comeback
player.
Wait,
that was a buzz. They buzzed me. Okay, thank you.
He was also voted NFL Comeback Player of the Year that year.
All right, so it's Flutie, Moulds. Five of them.
There were 5, yes. Now, one, I think, is going to be particularly difficult for you. I think the other 2 you should get no problem. No problem.
It's not Henry Jones.
I think I will give you a hint, okay?
Okay.
There are 2 remaining players on the offensive side of the ball, and there is 1 player on the defensive side of the ball.
It's got to be maybe an offensive lineman. Boy, I don't know.
You do know.
Do I?
You do. You'll be disappointed if you don't get these. 2 of these for sure. You'll be disappointed if you don't. Yes.
98?
98.
Dude, it's 2 decades ago.
It's 1 year after you retired.
Cut me some slack. All right, hold on.
Flutie, you're gonna hit yourself in the face. You're gonna slap yourself if you don't get one of them for sure. Come on.
Andre or Thurman? So it's not going to be.
You got to turn the page on the team here because
it's not going to be another Peerless Price.
Not Peerless Price. He was not there yet. He was a 99 draft choice. 2 on offense.
John Fina.
Not John Fina. Someone's going to elicit a laugh now. Forever. Forever. I will give you another hint. This person went to a lot of Pro Bowls.
Ruben
Brown. That's right.
Ruben.
Number 3. You have 2 left. 1 on defense, 1 on offense.
Ruben is a good one. It's not Jerry Ostrowski.
No. Wow, they love hammering you with that buzzer.
I know, that's... on defense.
Defense, dominant player.
Ted Washington.
There you go. Ted Washington. 1 left, and this is the hardest one. I thought this would be the hardest
Ted Washington, Reuben Brown, Doug Flutie.
Eric Molds.
Eric Molds. And on defense, it will be...
It's not defense, it's offense.
Oh, it's offense. It will be...
It's a guy who was well known as one of the better players at this position in the era in which he played.
He's on offense.
He's on offense. It is a position that has largely been phased out of the offensive
sure.
game.
I can't, it's a fullback. Who was it? I can't remember who it is. I get the guy's the fullback.
2 syllables, first and last name. Come on, you can do this. I know you can. You can picture him, can't you?
I can picture him. God.
Bruiser.
I can't remember.
Had the neck roll.
I'll never get it.
Sam Gash.
Sam Gash.
Sam Gash is number 5. So your
sorry,
98
Sam.
Pro Bowl
I couldn't
Bills.
think of it.
Doug Flutie, Eric Mold, Sam Gash, Reuben Brown, Ted Washington. Now, next in the numbers game, Steve.
Yes.
We pick it up with a degree of difficulty here.
All right.
With Pro Bowl numbers part 2. 5 is the number that's going to carry through this. This is the theme, number 5. So 5 Bills players with the most career Pro Bowls. Now, this should be a little bit easier for you. Actually, the degree of difficulty goes down because you're familiar with a lot of these names.
Here we go. Reuben,
yes,
Bruce.
8 Pro Bowls. Bruce is the leader with 11 career Pro Bowls. Now, I'm going to throw this in to help you.
Not Jim, right? I mean, it's not Jim. Thurman.
Not Jim.
Thurman.
No, not Thurman.
What?
They not for the most Pro Bowls, no. Most career Pro Bowls. Now,
How many did Bruce have?
he had 11,
And
Reuben had 8. There is someone tied with Reuben for 8, and I will tell you this is a little bit. We're gonna remind you that the AFL also counts here. All-Star Game appearances.
Billy Shaw.
Billy Shaw, right. He had 8 along with Reuben. So you have Bruce with 11, Billy Shaw with 8, Reuben Brown with 8. You got 2 left.
Did I make the list?
You made the list, Steve, with 7.
Thank you.
Yes.
I'm
glad you named yourself. I would have been a little concerned.
I didn't know the number, so when he said 8, I thought, well, I got a shot at that.
There's one more who is tied with you at 7 Pro Bowls. Andre Reed. Very good. You got all 5. Clean sweep, Steve. Well done. Okay, finally, Steve, we close out the numbers game with another list of 5. There have been 5 Bills who have been named Pro Bowl MVP.
All right.
Can you name those 5?
I think so. Bruce, Jim.
Bruce got it in 1988, correct. Jim Kelly in 1991, correct.
And me.
Steve Tasker in 92, correct.
Bledsoe?
No, not Drew Bledsoe. You've got 2 left.
Let's see.
And the hint I will give is of the remaining 2, 1 player came before the 3 you just mentioned, and 1 came after the 3 you just mentioned.
Henry Jones.
Henry Jones was not Pro Bowl MVP.
He almost got it the year I did.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, but you sewed it up at the end with the fumble? Forced fumble?
No. I got it with the last tackle in overtime on Dion. On kickoff. Oh, gosh, I should get this. I remember thinking, oh, that's good. MVP.
So one before your guys'
I guess.
run. So who would you guess? You had to guess through the lineage of
Juice.
O.J. Simpson, 1972. Very good.
Right. They buzz me and then they give me the bell.
What the hell is that? Come on,
It's
Steve's killing it
it's
today.
Emotional harassment.
Pro Bowl numbers game.
Right,
Steve's been
here we
killing
go.
it today. He only
and
needed
then
help
last
with Sam
one.
Gash.
Last one right after us.
Yes, and it's relatively recent.
Oh, hold on. Is it Lorenzo?
It is Lorenzo Alexander. Steve, nice job. This is your best performance in the numbers game by far. Well done. We have the. I don't have a grand prize for you, but I'm sure we've got some lovely parting gifts out in the
galleries.
Maybe a breakfast sandwich or something out there from the guys that brought in the donuts today. But that's great. Okay, so number five. Okay, 5, 5, and 5. So we had 5 Pro Bowlers this year, right. 5 in '98, and then we had 5 Pro Bowl MVPs in Bills history. And here's the thing. Last Pro Bowl topic to discuss, Pro Bowl snubs. Okay, and I know we mentioned this on our daily show, but I think it's proper to mention it here. Jordan Poyer, okay, 9th in the league at all positions in total tackles, 112. He puts numbers in just about every defensive category, 5 pass breakups, 2 interceptions, 2 forced fumbles, 2 sacks. Now, we talked about this on our daily show during the week. It seems to be all about the takeaways with the DBs, and that's what gets you votes around the league. Yeah. Is that right?
Well, no.
Is that fair?
I would be interested to see how the coaches voted. They watch these guys and study them, and certainly players have something. And players sometimes they got other things going on, and this Pro Bowl voting is kind of a wrench into the routine of their week. They're like, "What? I got to do? All right," and they kind of cursory look across the stat sheet. Who's got the most interceptions? Okay, he's the guy. That kind of thing. There's a little bit of that going on at times, but there's no question Jordan Poyer has played extremely well for this organization, particularly this year. And
I think it's his best year in a Bills uniform.
Absolutely, without question. 112 tackles, are you kidding me?
Yeah. I mean, he had over 100 last year, and that first year in a Bills uniform, him and Micah Hyde really gelled quickly. And he had a monster year in 2017, also forcing turnovers and stuff. I mean, he's got 18 total takeaways in his 4 years with the Bills. That's pretty good for a safety.
Yeah, it's tremendous.
That's pretty good.
It's tremendous. Yeah.
So unfortunate that he did not get the nod.
He's the guy that, and there's always maybe 1 or 2 guys on your roster that think, wow, he had a shot at it. But Poyer was a guy that I thought, wow, this is going to be his
Even
year.
Micah Hyde was stumping for him, saying this guy belongs in the Pro Bowl. I don't know how you say he doesn't. So unfortunate for him, but use it as fuel, man. Use it as fuel. You don't want to vote me to the Pro Bowl? Take it out on every offensive unit you face the rest of the way, regular season and playoffs. Okay, that's our Pro Bowl numbers game this week. Time now for our featured guest. It is the one and only Kyle Brandt from Good Morning Football.
It's fun. It's surreal. It's sort of intoxicating because we've seen it. Josh Allen has gone from being a talented kid to a bad mother. There's no BS with this. I feel like when he came in the league, he was like the Labrador puppy who hadn't really grown into himself yet, running around. Now he's a killer. And I'll tell you, you say that they're not satisfied. Peter King has this quote this morning about, Josh Allen, they win the East, he gets the hat and he gets the T-shirt. Josh Allen says, quote, "The hat and shirt's fine and dandy. I want the one that says bleepin' Super Bowl champion." And that is not a bleeping. He actually said the real word. He is angry. He is determined. They don't give a damn about the East. They don't want to win. They want to win the Super Bowl not 3 years from now, this year. And Saturday night, it was shock and awe. If you weren't watching that game, you missed out on a top 3 team in the entire NFL with a superstar quarterback who is a badass.
Well, you must recognize that voice if you listen to this show regularly. If you don't, it is the opinings of one Kyle Brandt from Good Morning Football, who is all aboard the Josh Allen hype train, and with good reason. Kyle, welcome. That was a heck of a soliloquy, and I don't think you're wrong. So I will just agree with you flat out from the beginning.
How'd you like that?
I'm thrilled to talk to you guys, and I'm thrilled to talk to your fans with their blue collars and their rust belts.
Oh, there it is.
The hunt this year. We're not showing up to the playoffs with a guest pass. Oh my gosh, Steve. Goosebumps. The disdain that you have in your voice when you say "in the hunt" and then when you say "guest pass." I was moved by it, Steve.
Yeah, and you made a cameo in there too. There was a line from you that was in there as well. But I knowing you have acting chops, Kyle, I need your best Siskel and Ebert on the Tasker performance.
Okay. Well, Siskel and Ebert would only bring out the heavy lumber when they were really moved. I mean, this had to be Goodfellas or something. And I'm giving it not just 2, but 2 very enthusiastic thumbs up.
Yeah.
And yet, Steve, I got so many questions. All right, first question. Let's not bury the lead here. At the end, was the wink your choice, or was that direction given to you?
Oh, I was in the script. It was in the
Was
script.
it?
Oh yeah, Michelle had it all lined out. She thought the wink. We tried it both ways, but we thought no, you got to give a wink because it takes it to a different level than when you take the wink into it because it's
But Steve did use some acting license.
Okay.
The cigar was his idea.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
Steve, tell me about that. That was your creative choice for the character, was to bring the cigar?
Yeah, I thought, because they had this thing going where it's a little, at the end there's a gravelly voice, it's like it might be chilly. Yeah. And I said, if it's cold, and you got me in the paperboy hat, yeah, I got to have a cigar. Right? Because I'm a cigar guy anyway.
I was so moved by this, Steve, that I did research on it, and I was Googling, I was reading about how it was made. And in the write-up of the production of this hype video, which is incredible, it's talking about your wardrobe, and it says specifically, Steve had, quote, an array of scarves from which to choose. So you showed up with your own cigar and your own array of scarves for this? You were prepared.
I had 5 cigars.
He is a cigar aficionado. You need to know this.
During the pandemic,
okay,
Kyle, I have smoked more cigars than the Cuban Army. So I brought 5, and I have a travel pack for the cigars, and I live in Buffalo. I got like 9,000 scarves. So I brought, I didn't know muted colors, stripes, solid color, all that. So I brought those and let Michelle take care. I said which one she'd go with the red, and I had one hat.
There's a lot of certainly so many people in this Bills organization, past and present, they could have chosen. The fact that they cast you, I think, was perfect. And what was it like for you to get that call?
They cast me because I was the next man on the list, and I was the first guy to say yes. So,
how many people said no?
Oh, I don't know. I'm teasing. I don't know.
Zero. Come on.
But listen, it was like,
I think he's getting a call back though, Kyle.
It was like It was like 24 hours notice. So I don't know when they started thinking about this months ago, or when they finally got to ask somebody to do it. I got the call about 24 hours before, because I'm always here, and they didn't need to, plan something special to schedule it or anything. So
and you're not flying any other Bills alumni in with COVID and everything.
Yeah,
so.
and they got to the point where they waited till, we had to keep it very quiet because it's like saying the punter or the kicker has not missed a kick in 6 weeks, right?
Yeah, the kibosh.
Right.
Yeah.
And so they didn't want us to have this video ready and then blow the team's chances of actually closing the deal.
So, Kyle, just to give you an idea on the frenzy that is existing here now after the division title, this video in the first 48 hours, 1 million views on the team website alone. Forget about phones and everything else. So just people are gaga.
And you know what,
right
Brownie, there's a lot of hype videos on the internet, and there have been for years. It's as many hype videos as there are fail videos. It's just a thing that's ubiquitous now. Every team, every season. But this one is special. That's my point. This sticks out. I've seen many of them. I have no emotional attachment to it. I get through 30 seconds, click next. I've watched this thing 3 times, and I've read about it. It was that good, and it feels that fun that they're making a Bills hype video. And I got a feeling, to your point, I don't think this is the last one of the season.
Now, Kyle, you mentioned in the clip that we played this morning about how you see a change in demeanor with Josh now. I think this has permeated the entire team because earlier in the year we saw a team that was kind of gaining its confidence, starting to play more confidently. Saturday in Denver, it was a seek and destroy mission, Kyle. I mean, it was seek and destroy, step on their throat. Nobody's hanging around. We're burying this team.
I was, at full confession, I think we talked about this a little last week. I was nervous about this game for the Bills. It's legitimately nervous because, in my opinion, from a spectator's perspective, I think Denver is the hardest place to play. You can talk Kansas City or Seattle, but the elevation factor, it's a tough. A lot of good teams have lost there. And then the Broncos are young, emotional. They just came off a win. I didn't like the recipe at all. And I'll give you a full confession, guys. We've talked for a while. I only drink alcohol 2 nights of the week, only Fridays and Saturdays. I'm very strict like that. Sunday through Thursday, I never drink. So Saturday night when this game was on, I'd been into a few. Like, Steve, if you smoke as many cigars as the Cuban Army, I think I was with the Irish Army or whoever it was, somebody on the other side of the ocean. I was feeling it when the game started, and I didn't stop once it went, and neither did the Bills. So I've never had more fun watching a Bills ass kicking as I did in that one, and that's exactly what it was. Like, Denver didn't belong on the field with them. The funniest detail of all was that it felt like there were 27 touchdowns that were brought back.
Yeah.
So
Patrick
it was like
Mahomes
like they were keeping them in it.
Yeah, Patrick Mahomes
I gave
even
myself
tweeted
a
about
refill, and I was like, all right, Buffalo, this has gone from, oh, yeah, win 12 games in a playoff game. That's a nice season. So, like, we may have to start thinking Tampa. It was that big of a shot across the bow.
I think the one that got me, and I was sitting there, I was doing the radio call with Murph, and it went from first and goal on the 5. Yeah. Then it's first and goal on the 30, and I think, well, at least they'll come out with a field goal, right? And they actually hand it off. They get a nice little run up the middle. It's second and goal on the 22, and Josh hits this sniper from 22 yards out and just nails Jake Kumaro, who is a special teams guy. It's like it was unbelievable. It was an absolute beatdown.
The Kumaro thing was the best because I think I had this right. You guys would know. I think this is his first catch as a Bill.
Yeah.
And, I mean, I talked about this morning. There's this incredible record that this thing set where they just tied the most players in NFL history to have a receiving touchdown on one team with 13 players on the Bills have caught it. And, all the obvious ones and Diggs and Knox and Brown, but, TJ Yeldon has a touchdown reception. Lee Smith has a touchdown reception. They tied the 2016 Atlanta Falcons, the last Kyle Shanahan coordinated team that went on to have the 28-3 lead in the Super Bowl, tied them, and we still got weeks to play. I will not rest until they break this record. I want Tywan Jones to score one somehow, some way, because that is an awesome record. I looked it up. 13 players. The Packers have had 9 players, and these crazy, vast, incredible offense that the Chiefs run with weapons, they only have 8. Not 13 players. This is a special team, guys.
Yeah, and just to paint that picture a little bit further, when it was first and goal from the 30, his teammates said that Josh said in the huddle, hey, everybody calm down. We're still going to score here.
That's so cool.
That's how he is in the huddle.
It's so cool. I mean, it could have been from their own 30. He's like, don't worry, I'll chuck it 70 yards to Kumaro. And I don't know, Kumaro, he's having a moment right now because he caught the touchdown, and who knows what role he'll play moving forward. But, the backstory on him, he was with Green Bay.
Yeah, Aaron
local
loved him, right?
Wisconsin guy, one of those Wisconsin colleges. And Aaron Rodgers has always loved Kumaro.
Yeah.
He says, I want to keep him here. Do not let him go. He stuck his neck out to say, I want the organization to keep Kumaro. And when they didn't, he was not pleased. And he vocalized that. Kumaro's a guy he absolutely loved. And now it's just like Josh Allen is just chucking it to him from 30 yards out like it's nothing.
Yeah.
It's just one of these years where just everything is coming up, Bills, and you've waited a quarter century for it.
And I'll add to the intrigue. His cousins are the Boses.
Oh yeah. Oh, that's great.
Yeah. His mom, and I guess the Boses' moms are sisters. I think that's the relation there. So they're cousins. He's cousins.
Yeah. And we're sitting here on a Tuesday, and Monday Night Football was last night. So the Jets the Jets actually beat the Rams. The Jets are not going to get Trevor Lawrence.
Yep.
The Dolphins fall away from the Bills, and then they beat New England. New England's out of the playoffs. And then Pittsburgh loses last night, and Buffalo is the number 2 seed in the conference behind Kansas City this morning. It was a pretty big weekend for Buffalo on a lot of counts. Of course, in the beatdown, it started with the beatdown of the Broncos on Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
This season, it started good. I mean, they were 4-0 to start the season, but it seems to be crescendoing for Buffalo at the best possible time.
It's amazing. Don't you think it's I just like to look around in December. Once Thanksgiving is over, you can really take stock. Never mind necessarily records or standings. Just look around and see who's playing well. Who is coming on right now. And, you have some front runners. Pittsburgh was one of them for sure, who they kind of fall off and they don't play that well. I remember, we're a month ago, we're saying, man, these Raiders play great football and they run it and they play defense. And now it's nothing. Even New England had its moment in the sun. If you go far enough back with Cam was great and no, look now. And this is why this is so exciting / terrifying as a Bills fan. There are a lot of teams in the AFC who are playing really well right now. Like, this thing is nuts. And I'm talking across the board. Baltimore, Cleveland, of course. I mean, you could keep going. Tennessee is terrifying. The Colts. These are all the teams you're going to see. The strangest thing, guys, is that if you could take your pick right now of the Bills' first-round opponent, I think in a heartbeat you take Pittsburgh. I think teams are lining up to play Pittsburgh right now. They look totally lost, and they just got crushed by Ryan Finley and the Bengals. So that's where it's gotten. AFC is loaded, and I think the most susceptible team is the one that started 11-0.
Yeah, I don't know if Pittsburgh's going to win another game this year. They might go 11-5. They might go 11-5, and they might be coming here to play the 2 seed.
11-6.
Yeah, and I mean,
see you later.
And I don't know if you feel this strongly, Kyle, but looking at Roethlisberger in Pittsburgh and looking at Cam Newton in New England, I can't see either of those players with a starting job in 2021, let alone in the league, perhaps. I mean, they have completely fallen off the face of the earth as to what they used to be.
It's weird, right? Because meanwhile, you look at them and then you look at Brady or you look at Phillip Rivers and they're cruising, really. I mean, they've turned the corner. They're a great team. Rivers is going to be in the playoffs this year. Brady's going to be in the playoffs this year. Drew Brees, for all he's been through, he's going to be in the playoffs. But you're right. There's something about Roethlisberger where I feel like 3 weeks ago, it's like he aged 30 years. And I hate it because I love these old war horses, but he doesn't have it. Cam obviously doesn't have it. I don't think Cam will be the Patriots starting quarterback next year, but the Roethlisberger one is fascinating. I mean, it's tough to put those guys down. He battles, and he's been there forever. But you're right. If there's not a pickup over the next few weeks, and never mind me or you guys, Roethlisberger said it routinely as recently as 2 weeks ago. If I don't have it, it's time for me to hang him up. He's very self-deprecating like that. So he doesn't have it right now. Maybe they'll turn it on, but this looks like a team that could lose. I mean, they're going to sit there and lose the AFC North to the Browns.
Right. So as this season winds down, you got 2 weeks left. You're right. You can also get a sense of where these teams have been during the year, which ones are imposters. Like Pittsburgh has fallen off, and they've got their own problems. And you can also get a chance to see what these teams may be in the future. Bills fans are kind of terrified of what this season could be because they know that this is an opportunity where they maybe have to shoot for the moon and go for start talking about the Super Bowl. But also they're pretty comfortable feeling that this is a formula that they have in Buffalo that's going to be sustainable. This seems like the beginning of an era, much like it did in Kansas City 2 years ago, where
it's so true.
You're beginning an era, not just having a nice year.
Great coach, great quarterback. We'll figure out the rest, right? I mean, I wish it was that simple, but yeah, and it feels a little different. Like, the Lamar thing was very exciting last year. We'll see what he does, but I would also include them in it too. I think they're going to be back in the playoffs, and you have the veteran head coach. So, yeah, it's Steve. I keep saying everything keeps coming up Bills. It's like, let's forget how they could win the Super Bowl this year, which they could. Let's talk for the next 15 years. They're going to be awesome. Let's go. I mean, never mind a Super Bowl win. We might be looking at a dynasty. Like, that's how exciting it is, and I don't even think that's absurd. Yet, I will point this out, and Steve, you've owned this as much as anybody, including in the recent hype video. Josh Allen doesn't want to be the guy who gets to the title game of the Super Bowl several years in a row and continues to lose. I mean, the Mahomes factor is very real. He's not going anywhere. And any Super Bowls that the Bills are going to get to will have to go through Kansas City for the next 15 years.
Right.
A lot of people are making mention of this like it's a thing. Like, oh, well, Kansas City in their last 6 games, they've won them all by 6 points or less. Maybe they're not the same exact team as they were a year ago. And Steve and I were just talking about this on the show. We're kind of the opinion that they've just got the engine on idle right now. They're not shifting it into 5th gear yet. I feel like they're just got to sit there and idle, and then they'll just step on the gas whenever they need to. I know that can be a dangerous game sometimes, but how do you feel about it with some of these close games they've been in?
Any slight that launched against the Chiefs is just someone trying to get bored with them and make things up. Listen, I know what you're talking about, the margin of victory thing. They're 8-0 on the road this year. They didn't lose a road game. I mean, they've played in some really tough places too. They're very good. The only thing that I don't like about them that is not imagined, and I'm not conjuring it up, that Edwards-Helaire injury. I mean, that's big. And the last I heard was maybe for the postseason, which sounds suspiciously like not. I heard ankle, and I heard one of my least favorite words for running backs, which is hip. So that looks bad. And now you say, okay, Le'Veon Bell, he'll be the guy who's the star of the title game. We'll see. I don't know. I don't know. I've seen some pretty good football from him this year. I haven't seen anything spectacular or special. And I think Edwards-Helaire did a lot of things for that team, a lot. So if that was the moment where, oh, my gosh, the Chiefs are cut and it's Drago below the eye, I don't know. They still have Mahomes and Kelsey and Hill, and that may be all they need. They're classic juggernaut. Classic.
Yeah. Now the here and now, the Bills are, into their preparation for the New England Patriots coming up this weekend. Bill Belichick's been a little bit coy. I was actually on the conference call with the Western New York media and Bill Belichick this morning, listen to what he had to say. And he's still being coy as to whether maybe they need to find, now that they're out of the playoffs, maybe they need to find out about Jarrett Sticham. Maybe they need to answer some questions about some guys on their roster. He's very coy about anything that he's going to change coming into this game. What about the Bills? Do they shift gears and keep pushing the gas pedal in a game that maybe because by Monday night everything else will take place. It may come to the fact that these last two games for Buffalo are virtually meaningless, but it's still the New England Patriots. What do you do? You think you keep your foot on the gas? How do the Patriots handle this, and how do the Bills respond?
Well, it's the Patriots, Steve. I hope they put 60 points on them. I think they've earned it. This is the time to do it. And listen, it's just a strange topic, don't you think? Sitting here saying like Bill Belichick trying to play spoiler and seeing what he has for next year. It's surreal. It's really strange. Yeah. I mean, even the year that Brady got hurt 12 years ago, they were still winning double digits. We've never seen this, at least not since I was maybe in high school, where what should Belichick do? Should they play this guy, that guy? Unbelievably strange. And I think the Bills had a hand in that. And I say, yeah, I think they should put out Jarrett Sticham. A, to see what he has, and B, because Cam doesn't have it. We know that. Right. So, listen, I hope the Bills fans enjoy this game against the Patriots because I think they're a far superior team, and I hope they keep it going. I don't believe in pulling back the reins a lot, and especially still when you have some things at stake. I would still play and just roll them over.
Let me ask you this then.
Yeah.
If Cam Newton doesn't sit down, if Cam Newton is the starter, how bad is Jarrett Sticham?
Yeah, I mean, it's a great question, and actually it's an easy question because it answers itself. If you're still putting Cam Newton out there, not only do you not want to win this game with Stidham, you have no future with Stidham. I don't even know why Stidham's on the team if they dislike him that much. And he must be. My opinion, and this is a conversation for the offseason, I think that what the Patriots will not do in the offseason is nothing. I think they will do something unbelievably bold at the quarterback position, whether it is one of these old guys who changes teams or whether it is something radical at the draft. Look what they did this year. That was a crazy thing that they signed Cam Newton. I mean, no one saw that come. We know when he predicted that. So it's a nice thing for Bills fans to have the Patriots just dying on a vine. I think they'll do something radical in the offseason.
Last one for me, Kyle, is dealing with home playoff games. The Bills obviously haven't had any since 1996. That was the last home playoff game, Jim Kelly's last game, by the way. And Coach McDermott was asked yesterday, what are you going to do? You're going to rest starters, play guys. He gave the indication they're going to keep playing to win. So it looks like it's, business as usual for him. But my question to you is, does home field advantage in the playoff lose its luster this year because there are no fans? There won't be the atmosphere that you can really take advantage of in the postseason. You mentioned how the Chiefs are 8-0 in their last 8 road games. I mean, the Bills, if they win on Monday night, 6-2 the last 2 years on the road. It may not matter who they play or where. Is the advantage of home field in the playoffs less of an advantage now?
Is it worth it?
Is it worth it?
Yeah, first of all, I hate that the Bills fans can't be there. I mean, everybody can share in that. It absolutely drives me crazy that can't be a thing that they attend, and that some of these people have waited most of their adult lives to go to this game. But I would just say, we played the clip at the beginning of this about how Josh Allen has become a bad mother, and he has. The baddest mother of all time is Mother Nature. And I would be very pleased taking Phillip Rivers or Baker Mayfield or Ryan Tannehill and plucking them down inside Buffalo on a cold January with horizontal wintry mixed precipitation. I don't care if there's nobody in the stands. Mother Nature attends every game, and she gets pissed off around January. And I see some quarterbacks in the AFC that I don't think are ready for it.
Right. Yeah, and you're right. It's a rough place in January. Yeah, it is. Kyle, it's great talking to you, man. Appreciate it. Let's enjoy it while we can. We'll talk to you next week for sure, and hopefully we got even more to speak about.
Always love doing it. My advice to other AFC quarterbacks, be ready. It might be chilly.
Yes. Have a great Christmas, Kyle. We'll talk to you next week.
See you, man.
This guys, see ya.
All right, Steve, we mull over the balance that Bills head coach Sean McDermott must strike here the rest of the way in the regular season. Buffalo currently holds the number 2 seed in the AFC playoff race, thanks in part to the Steelers' loss to Cincinnati on Monday Night Football. That means 2 home playoff games if they can hold on to the number 2 seed. In a normal year, I think it's a no-brainer to battle to the end of the regular season to hold on to that number 2 seed. But this year, there are no fans in the stands, thereby reducing the benefits of home field advantage in terms of atmosphere, crowd noise, energy in the building, that stuff. So our one burning question this week, Steve, do you play your best players right to the end of the season to secure the number 2 seed to get at least 2 home playoff games?
I would say yes. Yes.
Why?
It's worth it. Any edge you get is going to help you. You're talking about a singular opportunity here to get home. As long as you keep winning until the AFC Championship game, or at least the way it stands now, you get to play at home in the playoffs. It's something I think the players need to get used to. They need to see the relevance of it and work toward it. And let's face it, this is a choice you only get to make because of the way the chips have fallen for other teams. In a normal year, this is not even a consideration. If you're vying for a playoff spot, if you're trying to you play these guys. It's cursory. So it's not an added risk. It's not anything like that. You're not risking anything you wouldn't be risking if you were in a tighter race. So, yes, keep your foot on the gas, play these guys, and try and guarantee and ensure that every game you play after the regular season, or as many as possible, you get to play in your building. I think it's worth it, even in a year where the fans aren't the factor they usually are.
Now, the Bills are in a position to clinch the number 2 seed as early as their Monday night game against the Patriots, provided the Steelers lose to Indianapolis this week. Totally possible. With the way Indy's playing right now, they're hot, and the Steelers are ice cold. And a Titans loss at Green Bay, which doesn't sound probable, but it's certainly possible. It's a road game at Green Bay. We know how Green Bay can run up the points. The Titans' defense doesn't stop a lot of people.
Green Bay's the number 1 seed in the NFC. They're a tough team to beat.
Because of their scoring. Their defense isn't great, but neither is the Titans' defense. The Titans' defense gives up points, too. So that's a possible loss that you could see happening. And then if the Bills take care of business on Monday night and beat the Patriots, they clinch the number 2 seed. So then the next question becomes, number 2 seed locked up, rest everybody week 17?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, you take
give
a week
guys
off. You forfeit the game. Go to the beach.
That's your bye.
Yeah.
Rest them up, get them ready. I mean, I know Coach McDermott was saying this week he doesn't like taking his foot off the gas. He's got competitive people who want to win football games. I think you carry that into week 16, but you lock up that number 2 seed. It's not about taking your foot off the gas. It's about being smart and resting your players, I think.
Think about last year.
The conversation changes.
Yeah, the Bills finished 1-3 last year in their last 4 games.
They did.
They got off to a fast start in the Houston game as well. But I don't know that was optimal for them in their preparation or whatever. And they probably learned some things about themselves.
Yeah.
Either it was a good thing to do, or it was like maybe 50-50 one way or the other, or it was a really bad thing to do. But they learned some things over last year going to the playoffs, and in week 17, remember Matt Barkley, and nobody played. I mean, it was
13-7 game.
They lost to a Jets
13-6,
team. Yeah, they lost to a Jets team that was floundering with backup players. They learned some things, no question. But you can bet they'll try and fix those problems if they see them happening again. But if you've got the number 2 seed locked up,
and you can't get number 1,
and you cannot
we
get
we don't know that yet, obviously, because who knows what the Chiefs are going to do.
Well, even if the Chiefs lose out,
they're 2 games back of the Chiefs now.
They're 2 games back of the Chiefs now, and even if they end up tied, the Chiefs have the head-to-head, so the Bills can't get it. The Bills can't get 1 seed.
Yeah. So you get number 2, rest everybody in week 17.
Everybody.
But, I think a lot of what Coach McDermott said this week about we want to keep winning, I think that's in response to how last season ended. I think that's a very good point by you, Steve. I think they did learn from that last year. Let's keep pushing. And then if it makes sense to rest people in week 17 because we can't advance our playoff positioning, then I think that common sense kind of takes over at that point. And you say, let's rest these guys up, have them fresh for the playoffs. They've been playing playing well since they've come off the bye.
And
maybe some of their best football all season.
And even if it's not push, let's keep going, they will handle it a little bit differently than they did a year ago.
Yeah.
They'll start game planning. They'll start doing some things with their ones and twos, keeping them sharp. Maybe as far as giving them a series in the game in Miami, if it's that kind of thing. But they'll handle it differently and better than they did a year ago because they will have gone through it once.
Yeah. That's all the time we have this week. Thanks for listening to One Bills Lite. Remember to hit the subscribe button no matter what podcast platform you're on, or if you're watching and listening on YouTube, be sure to hit that like button. Everyone have a Merry Christmas, and remember, when there isn't enough time for One Bills Live, there's always enough time for One Bills Lite. For Steve Tasker, I'm Chris Brown. We'll see you next week.